I'm not knocking Ben Simmons as an overall talent because I think he's a star in the making. I just think that he's listen, he doesn't even have to get a perimeter shot. He's good for 23 a night if he could just hit free throws. Literally could just hit free throws. He's good for 23 a night. But when you look at him and Luka, I would remind you, Max, that when you think about Ben Simmons, he was absolutely horrific, shooting at about 30% from the free throw line. I think it was like 15 or 45 in the series in the 7-game series against the Atlanta Hawks in the semifinals. He shot, I don't know what his number was for the season, but it wasn't that impressive, like 61%, I believe, something like that. He can't hit free throws. That is a problem. And so because that's a problem, think about Dallas and how they're constructed. We simply don't know as of yet, but they're not rife with shot makers, okay? So that's problematic in and of itself. If you put Luka and Ben Simmons on there together, yes, Luka averaged 27 a game. I would remind you that Luka shot 73% from the free throw line. He shot 53% from the free throw line in the playoffs. 27 of 51 free throws. I mean, you got to imagine that they'll both improve to some degree. But in the end, if you're that kind of liability from the perimeter, because Luka isn't the greatest jump shooter in the world. He hits clutch shots, but he isn't the greatest jump shooter in the world. The fact is, him with Ben Simmons, to me, doesn't work. Ben Simmons has to be on a team where you have an abundance of perimeter shooters. That, to me, is the ideal place for him, because then he can just simply focus on his free throws. And other than that, playing the way that he plays in terms of ball handling, running an offense, creating plays for other people, etc., because he definitely is elite at creating open shots for other people because of his athleticism, his speed, his size, his ball handling skills, and his ability to get to the basket at will and finish at the basket for the most part. This is a guy that can create open shots for other people. If you surround him on a team, let's say like Portland with McCollum and Covington and all of these guys, that would be different because obviously if you got Ben Simmons, you'd probably lose Damian Lillard. But if you had him on a team like that, if you had him on a team like Golden State, where Golden State, you got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, although they're a bit hesitant to bring him on board. They're a camp divided in Golden State from what I'm hearing, Max, because they don't believe him and Draymond should be on the court at the same time. One or the other, not both. But nevertheless, I think that Klay and Steph are such elite shooters and so elite at moving without the basketball, getting open to get shots. I think that you could still get away with it if you're the Golden State Warriors, because we don't give credit enough where credit is due to the basketball savant that Draymond Green is. This brother knows how to pass. He knows how to play. He's a highly intelligent basketball player, and he knows not just who to give it to, which most situations it's Klay, but when and how. And I've seen him giving passes while setting picks all at the same time. Draymond just knows what the hell he's doing. And so for me, I don't mind the thought of him and Ben Simmons being there together the way some people inside Golden State's organization may mind. But Ben Simmons has to be surrounded by at least a couple of perimeter shooters on the floor with him.
Let me tell you the evolution of
perimeter shooters.
Let me tell you the evolution of my thinking here. Remember, when I said Embiid and Simmons, it's not that they don't work together, but that you could maximize them if you separate them. My point was, I looked at Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak and Ben Simmons were similar players early, but they built a team around the Greek Freak. They never did that around Simmons, exactly as you're describing. Put shooters all around him. You either double him or he's taking it to the rack. And if you do double him, he's going to find the open man. That's a way you can go far. I agree. And that's why I proposed the trade to Portland. I said Simmons, Matisse, maybe Maxey, a draft pick, Damian Lillard, right? I'm talking about from the Mavericks' point of view here. You need to get better. It's a league with big threes, not just 2 dudes, 3 dudes where you're like Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Dallas ain't going to do it with just Luka. And they're not even going to do it with Luka and one other dude if Brooklyn or LA is healthy. But you got to start with another special kind of player. So who's available? Ben Simmons is available. And those two basketball IQ passers at their size, with everything they can do, everything you mentioned about them, the only thing really glaringly missing is Ben Simmons shooting. That's it. Otherwise, look out.
Yeah, but the problem with it, Max, is that you got to have somebody to pass it to. And the fact of the matter is, you look at Dallas's roster, that doesn't exist, number one. Number two, Porzingis, remember Porzingis in Dallas, the belief is that his relationship with Luka Doncic is the biggest problem.
Sure.
Just as big of a problem as his durability. We keep forgetting Porzingis was healthy against the Clippers. He did play in that series, okay? But somehow, some way, it just didn't mesh. Now you come to Philadelphia and you think about Ben Simmons. Well, if you listen to the scuttlebutt that's circulating around the NBA over the last week or so, Max, you're hearing that Ben Simmons may not want to come back to Philadelphia, that he's hearing that the Philadelphia 76ers, although their asking price was pretty steep, was busy entertaining an abundance of trade offers for him, and as a result, he doesn't want to go there, and who knows whether or not he may show up to training camp. I haven't spoken to the Philadelphia 76ers to confirm that, but those are the kind of things that you're hearing over the last week. So my point is that the same kind of problems that you may fear or that you already have realized with Porzingis, you may fear ultimately with Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
and those are things to take into consideration as well.
You got to do your due diligence there and see if it will work. You got to talk to the guys and everything. But I think it was Jordan Schultz's idea on this show when he floated the idea during the draft. And at first I was skeptical. The more I thought about it, the more I liked it for Dallas. I want to say one thing real quick. I was digging into Philadelphia 76ers Twitter, right? I was looking, what do the fans have to say? And one fan brought up, I found the numbers. I forgot his name. I apologize. But brought up Ben Simmons plus minus in the 4 losses to Atlanta, right? When he was on the floor, the 76ers in the 4 losses to Atlanta were plus 4.
Doc doesn't play. So we have to remember Doc has won a championship, so he knows what he's doing. Listen, when you're the second best player on your team and we say, hey, he's a star, he's been an all-star, you got to perform like one. And Ben Simmons did not do that. He wasn't aggressive. But the Sixers lost this series in Game 5. If they had won Game 5, they would have won this series. But they lost the series when Coach McMillan of the Hawks did that hacker Simmons, and they couldn't go to the free throw line and hit those free throws, and that's where they lost this series. And then he lost his confidence in Game 5 as well, right? And so now it's time for a new destination and a new place for Ben Simmons. It'll be great for him. It'll be great for the organization. Rich Paul's got to go out and do his thing as his agent to get him in a place where he can thrive, get his confidence back. Hopefully there's a star at another team who needs a change of scenery as well, and bring that person into Philly. Fan base loves the Sixers in Philly, and this man can talk about that more than I can. I played against the Sixers twice, so I know that fan base. They love the Sixers, and talk radio this morning is probably talking about, getting Simmons out of there. Mm-hmm. Doc Rivers prepared the team, but he can't shoot free throws. He can't knock down shots.
First of all, here's the deal. There is no excusing what's going on with Doc Rivers. I love the man personally and professionally. But there have been several collapses on his watch. And this weekend is particularly devastating because the Los Angeles Clippers won a Game 7 and went to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history in Ty Lue's first year. And he did it the last 3 games without Kawhi Leonard.
Go look up Ty Lue when he's down in the series or
when
it's on the line.
I got you. The point is that you consider what Ty Lue did in year 1. And that Doc Rivers didn't do it in 7 years. And then on the same weekend, you lose a Game 7 to an Atlanta Hawks team most people thought that you were supposed to beat. This is not a good day for Doc Rivers, number one.
Yep.
But having said all of that, I roll with my man Magic Johnson. Ben Simmons has got to go. He's 24 years of age. He's a star talent.
Right.
And I'm not saying that Ben Simmons should be given up on because he's some scrub or anything like that. It goes to what you pointed out, Magic. I know Philly.
Yeah.
I worked there for 17 years. I was a columnist for my last time. Let me tell you something right now. That city ain't going to ever forgive him for what they have seen. And here's why. Not just that he missed shots, he didn't take them.
Yeah.
See, when you see the Greek freak in Milwaukee miss or make, he takes them. Ben Simmons is literally scared to shoot the basketball. He gave up a wide open dunk because he anticipated he was going to be fouled and didn't want to go to the free throw line. 34% shooting in the postseason. For anybody who's attempted 70 or more, it's the worst free throw percentage shooting in the history of basketball. And this is a league Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal played in.
Right.
And they shot better for the free throw line than Ben Simmons. This is very, very bad. And when you take that into consideration, and you combine that with the fact that Philadelphia being a very unforgiving town, and they don't know how to let off and lay off, and they're going to constantly berate him, and it's mental.
Yeah.
With him, I don't believe he can overcome that, Max. In the city of Philadelphia, you got to move him. I'm going to say it right here on national television. Try and get yourself somebody like C.J. McCollum. Bring him to Philly. Send Ben Simmons to Portland. Because with all the perimeter guys they have in Damian Lillard, it would work.
That's how bad his trade value has been diminished. Now it's like, can you get C.J. McCollum for Ben Simmons?
It was 4 years, $140 million.
Ben Simmons cannot be fixed in Philadelphia. I agree with you. And by the way, the Philly fans get such a bad rap for riding guys. How were they with Markelle Fultz? When he was going through problems, that city supported him. Any little positive thing he could do, they're doing the same thing for Ben Simmons. The city's behind him. He just let him down. I think it's over for him. They've supported him. I think it's over for Ben Simmons in Philly. Can Doc be fixed in Philly? I agree with you both. Ben Simmons got to go. Can Doc be fixed in Philly? Look at what just happened. Look, you're right, Magic. He's already shown he can win a championship with a big three in a league that didn't have any other big three. They were the only one. Got one. Collapsed. More playoff collapses. The stats have been going around, et cetera, et cetera. And I love Doc Rivers. I loved him as a point guard for the Knicks. But we have to be honest about this. You can't play Dwight Howard in that game. Or Shake Milton. Like, those guys can't see the floor. He went 10 deep in a game 7. Think about what was happening in that game early on. Dudes who were getting cooked. Like, this is just coaching stuff. Gallinari was cooking George Hill. Seth Curry was getting cooked by Herter, right? And then they're playing a backcourt of Trae Young and Lou Will. You got to punish that. Offensively, you have to. They can't play defense. You got to punish
But with who? Who are you going to punish him with?
Well, if Tobias Harris would be nice if he showed up.
Okay, but that didn't happen. Danny Green hurt. His injury hurt the Sixers. So you can't judge Doc Rivers until Danny Green is in that lineup. But this is it. You talked about last season. Doc Rivers wasn't playing against the Denver Nuggets. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George didn't show up in Game 7. Jamal Murray outscored both of those superstars. One man did, right? So that's not Doc's fault. Same thing here. Listen, Ben Simmons got to take ownership and say, listen, this is what's going on out here. I know Embiid's going to give me 30. I got to get at least 20 to 25 for us to win.
What do you get for Ben Simmons? And who should want him?
Well, a solid player. McCollum would be great because he can shoot. He'll stretch the floor. He can play alongside.
And he ain't scared to shoot.
Exactly.
Stephen A., who do you think should want Simmons?
I just said Portland. I think a team like Portland with the perimeter players and the style of play that they have, not to mention the fact that their Achilles heel is defense.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons doesn't have
Great,
that.
I think he's the best defender in the league.
He can defend anybody. But let me also add this. Here's what I will, again, you're right about Doc Rivers. Here's what to point to, though. Seth Curry is a damn good basketball player, and we've been very pleased by what we've seen from him. He's undersized.